ready for a nighttime RAWtalk, Steven?
I'm ready for a nighttime RAWtalk.
Because what happens at night in the FroKnowsPhoto loft, you know, it doesn't go out to the rest of the world. Sometimes it does. It depends. Like, what?
Pretty sure it goes out to the rest of the world.
Oh, you sure?
Yeah.
The rest of the world.
Unless I don't edit it.
Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com, and welcome to episode number 61 of FroKnowsPhoto RAWtalk. Welcome to another edition of the nighttime loft of FroKnowsPhoto. Steven.
Yes, sir.
How was your week?
It was a good week. Busy week.
Busy week?
Had a couple studio sessions, a few shows, but overall pretty good. How about you?
You get tired of shooting music ever?
Sometimes.
Exactly.
If it's like multiple shows in a row, then yeah, but when it's like once a week, it's not too bad.
Because you find yourself in the pit quite often.
And it depends of the artist that I'm shooting or the band I'm shooting, if
Sure.
I want to or not.
Exactly.
I'm a fan.
So we have a busy rundown this week for you. We've got news from Steven. Last week was a ton of news.
There was, 'cause we had to catch up.
We were catching up over 2 weeks. I eat Heinz. I don't know about you.
You what?
Heinz?
The ketchup?
Yeah.
What about it?
That's it. I'm a Heinz guy.
You just eat ketchup all day, every day?
Well, no, I have. You know how many bottles of Heinz I have up there?
Yeah, well, you buy in bulk everything.
I do. I buy like 6 so I don't ever
like
run out.
30 Gatorades, 6 Giantings apple
There's
juice.
2 cases of Gatorades. There's another 4 gallons of apple juice.
Bunch of I Shoot Raw beverages.
Well, actually, I have no I Shoot Raw beverages. They're your I Shoot Raw beverages. I just have my vodka and apple juice because I'm out of lemonade, which actually isn't that bad.
And it just tastes like apple juice.
I'm like, it actually doesn't taste that bad. I'm starting to speak in Russian. That's some terrible. Anyway, we've got a busy show. It's not just because of news. There's some news stories, but we've got to talk about the new YouTube comments. I've got something new from Rode that is coming out.
Do we?
Or will be out. I do.
Nice.
Yes, I have to read it. Something new they came out with. We got to talk about the holiday sale, which is up and running, because there are 24 golden Fro picks that are up for grabs, and then there's another 20 additional things that nobody has to. There's no purchase necessary for.
And what do they get if they get the golden?
We're going to talk about that.
Okay.
I'm going to save that till we get there.
Gotcha.
I don't want to bore people, Steven. We got the 60 minutes profile to talk about.
Yes.
Which was fantastically awesome. And we are flying solo with you still sitting at the table this week because there's no reason to kick you out.
Yeah, there really isn't. Because you're going to be talking most of the time anyway, so it's not
I get
too
to
much
look at
editing past that.
Right, and I get to look at you.
You get to look at me.
Like, hey, Steven, welcome to the loft for late night at the loft.
Late night at the loft.
Anyway, we have a lot to jump into. The flying solo questions are fantastic. That's why I have a lot of I have 9 pages this week, Steven.
What?
Well, that's because
Wait, don't you normally have like 5 or 6?
5 or 6, but 8 or 9 is for those really big ones. So anyway, why don't we just?
I'm gonna just guess right now. This is gonna be an hour and a half.
Better not be.
Last week I said that, and it was an hour and a half.
Because we still have to do your photo news.
Yep.
And I don't feel like
gonna be a
doing
late
it.
night.
I don't feel like doing it.
We're gonna do it.
We're gonna do it live.
We'll do it live.
All right. Why don't we just jump into that and let's get some photo news.
Photo news. This one not too big of a news story, but still thought I'd bring it up because I know people would probably scold me if I didn't bring it up. Canon Japan released a white version of the Rebel SL1. It's called the White Kiss. How's that apple juice and vodka treating you?
It's actually much better than I expected.
It looks refreshing.
It is very smooth, and I did fill it up to the about.
It looks like pee in a glass.
You know what, Steven? I'll take vodka and pee. I don't care. It does. Does it look like urine to you?
It does.
Let me check.
While I sip on my delicious I Shoot Raw beverage.
All right, let's go. Let's get this news because we got
Anyway,
a lot
so
of
yeah,
questions.
the White Kiss they released. It's only to be released in Japan for now, and it's going to be out November 28th if anyone's interested in getting a white Canon camera, not a black one.
So it's white to go along with the lenses
Pretty much, yeah.
that you're not going to buy for a Rebel.
Yep, and if you don't live in Japan, you won't be getting it for now.
Just like the clock.
Just like the clock. Yeah, which I do want that clock though. So this is
I don't think that a D4 shutter is actually going to wake you up.
Yeah.
Wait, why do you want a D4
like
clock?
Well, I don't know. It's kind of cool.
Or do you want a Canon 24-70 clock?
I can do a Canon 1DX clock.
You could. I'd be like,
Silent shutter mode.
yeah,
Won't wake me up at all.
that's a snooze, punch it. Oops, just ruined another camera.
I don't know. I think it's pretty cool though.
News.
This is incredible though. Russian photographer. I don't know how to pronounce his name. It's like Alexei.
Spell it.
Okay, Alexei, and then the last name is KL.
I bet you it ends in OV.
You're right.
Yes!
Oh, so cliche. KLIJATOV.
It's click off.
Klijitov.
No, it's click off.
Click off.
It's click off.
Okay, click off. It's probably totally wrong, but
No,
we're gonna go with
it's
it.
click off. The J is silent.
Okay. So he captured a set of remarkable shots of snowflakes. Just snowflakes. And they look so cool. There were so many different sets and so many different images. Anyway, he did it by he hacked together a point-and-shoot camera. Nothing expensive or no macro lenses. He basically put on a Canon A650 point-and-shoot with a flipped-around 58mm lens and a simple LED light for the light. And yeah, the whole set is on the site, and it's really cool.
Spectacular.
It is.
I can't believe that it was taken with that camera and then a turned around 58mm. They said Russian-made lens. I've never heard of them, and it looked like it was taped to the end of this thing.
Literally, like not duct tape, but like electrical tape.
I've had people do this at weddings where they reverse their lens, hold it close to the opening, so you're going to worry about dust and stuff, and then shoot pictures, and it works macro way. It's not as good.
I was going to say, it's just kind of like having a macro?
Not even as close as having it. But what this guy did, I guarantee you it's like cropped a little bit. The stuff is unbelievable. I sat there and said, this can't be real.
Well, and it looks like it looks fake. It looks like it's like a graphic design piece almost.
But it's gorgeous.
It is.
The snowflakes are amazing.
They're pristine, and the fact that they're all different, every single one of them.
It's like a fingerprint.
I saw like, yeah, it is. I saw like 17 or 18 of them, and I think every single one was different. There's like one that looked like a Superman logo.
I just can't believe how awesome it looks.
Yeah.
That is fascinating. Guy did a great job. Check those out on the site.
Yeah. Next up,
and by the way, I think I got to the vodka part now.
Oh yeah.
More of
now
it. I stirred it, but yeah, it's much thicker at the bottom.
It's not as apple juicy anymore. So we have, since the Hunger Games is coming out this week, I thought this would be good to bring up.
That's this week?
Yep. Well,
what
when
day?
this is out, it's going to be this week.
When is it? When's it come out?
It's
the 21st?
The 23rd? Whatever this Friday is. Not tomorrow,
Not
but I'm
tomorrow?
saying when this comes out, yeah.
Because my dad and I are going.
22nd or something like that.
I got to get tickets.
Yeah, it's Friday.
I'm so excited.
It looks pretty good.
I'm so excited! Did you ever watch... no, not that one. Did you ever watch Saved by the Bell?
I've never seen yes, I've seen Saved by the Bell.
Oh, I was about to yell. But you know when Jessie...
Yeah.
You know when she stays up all night to study?
I'm probably not going to remember the episode.
So she stayed up all night to study, but she was popping like uppers.
Oh,
so
really?
She was addicted. This was their big drug thing. And it's not like she did anything. She was taking uppers or whatever. And Zach comes over and Zach's like, Jesse, you got to stop doing this.
With his big phone?
Hey, Jesse, what's wrong? And then she's just like, I'm so excited. I'm so falling apart. I'm a drug addict. Oh, can I go to bed with you? Because I want to be in that really terrible movie, Showgirls. That movie was horrible.
It was terrible.
Anyway, back to news.
Back to news. Yeah, so there's behind-the-scenes footage they put up of, again, the making of the Hunger Games Catching Fire. It's online. It's got various B-roll. It shows making of footage. You can basically see how much effort actually goes into making these blockbuster films. There's a ton of production going into it. There's a ton of cameras. There's a ton of people in general. But majority of the footage, it was shot on the Panavision Panaflex Millennium XL2, which I honestly don't even know what that is, but I'm assuming it's a very nice camera.
The clock's not running, Steven.
It should be.
How much time is left?
Yeah, 8:45. We're good.
Okay, good.
We got about 12 minutes.
Okay.
Anyway, so they shot most of it on that, and then they also used the IMAX camera. And the cool thing is, once they enter the arena, they use this other camera. But then once they actually enter the arena, that's when they shot it in IMAX. So the movie actually like opens up IMAX wise.
Oh wow!
So if you see it in IMAX, it'll be a really cool experience.
I think you have to
Well, you also you always.
But you know
read
what's
about
interesting about this stuff? Yes, it's very expensive to see these movies. Even though I'm going with my dad, he can buy a senior ticket now.
Mm-hmm.
You can buy children's tickets, but I'm not
$1 cheaper.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna. I'm done playing that game where it's like, hey, I'm gonna buy a children's ticket, even though they are less expensive. I used to do that digitally. You buy it and you swipe it, and nobody checks. But the thing is, if you have the option of seeing something in is it 3D or is it just IMAX?
I think just IMAX.
If you have the ability to see it, the screens, the 4K. Soon they're going to be at 8K. Excuse
8K,
me.
that's insane.
Could you imagine? But the DLP projectors, or I don't think they're DLP, but the whatever they are, the 4K projectors that Sony makes are so unbelievably incredible to sit there and watch how it's like you're there.
It is, yeah.
So if it's a couple extra bucks, we need to be wowed these days.
Yep.
So it's not just sitting there. I mean, I haven't seen a scratch on film for a long time because the theater I go to is all digital.
Yeah.
That's the only way to go.
Well, my whole thing is like at my house, my roommates and I, we pitched in for like a 60-inch TV. We have full surround sound, 7.1. When we're at home, it's like a freaking theater. So if I want to go to the movies, I'm going to actually make it worth it and go to IMAX. That's my personal thing.
You did get to see my old loft.
Yeah.
When I had the projector. Yeah. The 14-foot projection.
No, I never saw you do the projection.
Oh,
You always showed me that you had it, but you never set it up.
Dude, that ruined me.
Because now you want to see everything.
Now I just
huge.
want it because I have what was that, like a 60-inch TV on the wall over there?
That's about the same size I have.
Whatever. I'm blind. I have to sit on the floor to get close. When I watch hockey, I'm sitting 3 feet from it because I can't see it.
Yeah.
But when I had the 14-foot wall projection, I was like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. It is. I hope to do it again here one day somehow.
Yeah.
But only at night.
I mean, I personally love watching this stuff, the behind-the-scenes stuff, because just from college and doing like advanced film production and stuff, it's just really interesting to see. It's almost the same kind of setup. If you're in college now, it's not much different of a transformation going on to like being a PA or something on this kind of set. So yeah, check it out. It's on the website. We also have, actually, I'm going to save this one for last. You know which one we're talking about? Jonathan Ive, he gives you a little bit of insight into how he came up with the specific design for the one-of-a-kind Leica M Red edition that's going up for auction at the end of this week as well. I think it's actually the same day that Hunger Games comes out.
I'm so excited for Hunger Games.
So you can bid on this or you can go and see Hunger Games.
I would go see Hunger Games. I don't know anything about it.
You never saw the first one?
I saw the first one.
Okay.
I loved it.
I
saw it with my dad. This girl, Karen, let me borrow the books. And it was like 4 months later, and they were still sitting in the same place. I didn't want to read the books.
Yeah, I've had a friend that actually read all three, and she like loved them.
Who was that?
I haven't actually done it.
What was her name?
Nicole.
Who's Nicole?
Some girl. You don't know her.
Who's Nicole?
You know who I'm talking about. Oh. Anyway, he did it with fellow designer Mark Newson. They both came up with this Leica Red one-of-a-kind camera. There's a whole like behind-the-scenes bit. They're talking about how they designed it, why they designed it this way, blah, blah, blah. Funny thing is Bono's actually in this. Bono of U2. He's featured in the video because he runs Red, which is behind the auction. They're trying to raise money for AIDS.
Sunday, bloody Sunday! What else is there to sing from them?
There's a whole bunch.
I know there's a lot. What's off of Joshua Tree?
That's like the classic one. I can't think of the names right now.
The streets have no name.
With or without you.
With or without you. Ooh, that was a bad
I still
pitch.
haven't found what I'm looking for.
You know, it's funny, Steven. Because I still haven't found what I'm looking for. All right. Yeah, I'm not interested in this camera at all.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not
honestly.
either, but it's just something cool because I know all you
it's great
Apple
for
fanatics
charity. It's great for charity. It's just so over the top.
It is, but they're trying to make it over the top.
Do you know what my goal is today,
Trying to get a lot
Steven?
of cash.
You know what my goal is?
What's your goal?
To have a neighbor text me or knock on the door and say that we're too loud.
It's not that late yet, though, right?
Nah.
Yeah, it's only 8:50 on Thursday night.
It is?
Yeah.
I'm going to reset the cameras. You keep going.
We still got time, but...
I'm going to do it anyway.
Okay. So next up, we have a new ball, a camera ball. It's called the Pano. It captures interactive 360-degree images in mid-air. It's pretty cool. It's kind of like that bullet time effect going on. But it was launched via an Indiegogo fundraising campaign this week. It features 36 cameras in a softball-sized shell, kind of like this big, and just has cameras all over the place. And basically what you do is you throw it up in the air, and the ball calculates when the peak height is reached, and then it triggers off all the cameras at once. Then it stitches everything together in a 72-megapixel, 360-degree panoramic image, which then can be downloaded wirelessly to your smartphone. Crazy. The sample images look pretty cool, though.
How much?
They didn't say exactly, but they said
how much can you fund it for?
Donation of $500 or more gets you a pre-order for it.
So that's how Indiegogo works.
Which I feel like is a little bit too expensive.
No.
Yeah.
$500.
And they're trying to fund the project for $900 grand.
So,
which is pretty crazy.
I do a lot of research into crowdfunding and the proper way to do it. We also know about the Pixel Stick. Asked for $110,000 and has already surpassed $450,000, I believe.
Yep.
You want to undervalue it in terms of how much you're looking for. The reason is, if you say you want $900,000, do you know how many people need to do that? And what happens psychologically is people go, you're never going to reach 900,000. I'm not going to put my money in unless it gets close.
It's not worth it, yeah.
But it's not going to get there because that's too much.
It is.
If you sat there and said, we're going for 150 grand, but again, it's expensive. We know it's expensive to make this stuff. How many cameras are in it?
36.
There's 36 sensors in there, which that's going to be damn expensive.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah.
But I will say they're up to $200 grand at the time of this recording. So I mean, maybe they'll make it, but I'm sure once this promo run, you know, all these, like us promoting it, every other news website, it's going to die down.
Would you spend $500 for a ball that you throw up in the air?
I would spend $300 for a pixel stick, but I wouldn't spend $500 for this thing. Because this is something that you wouldn't use.
I want to take a ride on your pixel stick.
Plus, pixel stick is like a very unique, one-of-a-kind thing. This, not really.
It's a ball.
Throw up a GoPro or something or whatever. You're not going to get the same effect, but still.
No. It's interesting.
It is
Maybe
interesting.
it's good for like
thing.
shooting a picture of a house.
Yeah, well, they showed the sample images. They showed like someone being on top of like the highest hill in a city and then like overlooking the city, and they threw it up and it looked pretty cool. They were showing like a
Speaking
at a
of throwing up, Steven. No, I'm just kidding.
That apple juice is getting to you?
No, it's good.
But anyway, moving on, we have a photographer got himself into a scuffle with an elk, and it was all caught on video, which is pretty cool.
I watched it.
Yeah, I mean, I was hoping for more, but
yeah, they're like
everyone kind of raved about it, and I was like, okay, well, he got like headbutted a couple times, but
for anybody who hasn't seen this, it's over on the website.
It is
under the Steven News web part. I hope, Steven, we didn't talk about this yet.
We didn't.
No, what I'm about to say.
Uh-oh. What are you gonna say?
Well, it's my hope that when we have the audio go live, is that we have the news ready so people can do it.
No, that's fine, and it makes total sense because what I've been doing is putting it up Monday when the video goes live.
Yeah,
but that doesn't make sense because if people listen to the podcast and they want to check it out,
so if it's possible,
yeah, then
because you can work on the news during the week.
Well, the article is not the part that takes a long time; it's the editing the photo news video preview.
My neighbor's being loud.
That's the part because there's so many layers in that video. It's editing the photo news video. That takes forever.
Well, because of all your outtakes.
Layers, outtakes, going through it just takes a little while.
Well, if you would get it right on the first take.
Yeah, well, I'm not as good as you.
I don't get it. I wouldn't get the photo news right on every take.
Yeah, because that's also something. It's not like we're holding up cue cards. It's something we're just making up on the fly.
No, you do a very good job getting it by the third take, second or third.
Yeah, I'm not going to get the first take.
Much better. Yeah. Anyway, sorry to distract you, but
no, you're right.
What were we talking about?
The scuffle. The guy got in the scuffle.
So if you want to watch this thing, check it out. And you think the guy's just sitting on the ground minding his own business, his P's and Q's. He's taking photos of this elk.
Yep.
It's a bull.
Giant elk.
Well, it's a baby. They said it was a juvenile.
But yeah, it was still huge.
He still had big things.
Yeah,
I was looking for the other one. I didn't see it. But he did have big...
Or...
antlers.
Antlers?
Antlers! He had big antlers. So he was... Basically, the elk walks up to the guy, and he's like, hey, I'm an elk. How are you? And he's like...
Pleasure to meet you.
And so the guy's sitting there on the ground taking pictures, and the elk starts to sniff him and then gets into the head-butting motion. So he lowers his head, so then the guy lowers his head, and then they just butt it a little bit. But those things are sharp as hell.
That's what I was waiting on.
What I don't understand... What I don't understand is, one, he just sat there. I get it, if maybe for a couple seconds, but it goes on for like 8 minutes of him sitting there getting headbutted until it gets rougher and rougher. And in between the headbutting and the things that the guy's sitting there spraying and praying,
I know.
It's like, this is going to be amazing photos.
You can hear the shutter all the way from where
they're not going to be good photos. But what I don't understand is people just standing by watching, taking pictures. The guy should have stood up. As soon as he stood up, the thing ran away almost.
It did.
Finally. So it's just like, you're putting your life at risk here, man. Those things are sharp. They could go this thing is horny. You're not, it doesn't think that you're a female. You're not a female. He's trying to beat you because you're a male. You're invading his territory. Maybe the guy smelled.
I don't know.
All right. Anyway, next.
Should I go on to details about that or just check this video out?
Details.
Details are basically it happened at the Cataloochee Valley of Great Smoky Mountains National Park. And yeah, the elk was at a respectable... The elk basically came up and the guy was at a respectable distance, and then he came up and they scuffled and did all that crap and headbutted a few times, but that's pretty much it. Not much details.
No, you'll watch it and skip through it till the end.
And we only have one more story left.
Well, the video looked good.
The video looked
great that the people kept better than the still photos that they captured.
I was going to say, yeah.
The video looks sharp, like they edited it, and then the pictures look like JPEGs.
Yeah, it actually looks like it was almost like he was waiting for something to happen. Whoever was, because that guy wasn't with the photographer. Like he was just there video or filming something.
But everything turned out fine. No animals or people were hurt in this scuffle.
Yeah. But I still think he should have ran away.
Or stood up.
Because
every time he moved, the thing got scared.
Yep. So last but not least...
Born in West Philadelphia... down in West Philadelphia, born and raised, where I spend most of my days chilling and maxing outside of school. When a couple of kids were up to no good and started making trouble in my neighborhood,
Got in one little
I got
fight.
in one little fight, and my mom's got scared. She said, "You're moving with your auntie and uncle to Bel Air." Boom. Boom. All right.
Where did that come from?
You said nobody got hurt, like got in one little fight.
I said that?
Somebody got scared. I don't know. Yes, you said one of the words from the song.
Did I? Okay.
All right, keep going.
So last up, we have 60 Minutes. You saw this personally. I didn't, so I can't really talk about it too much. But they did a segment on the GoPro this past week, and apparently it was amazing, at least what you told me. It features CEO and founder Nick Woodman. You personally saw this, so what do you think?
Well, it was
about
not just it was not just the GoPro thing.
Actually, I'm kidding. That wasn't the last story. I have one more.
Oh, well, not only did they feature the GoPro CEO, but right after that, they did something about the photographer Henry Grossman. And this Henry Grossman, I mean, this was fantastic. But anyway, the GoPro thing was awesome.
Yeah.
It's just great to hear the story. The guy had an idea. He wanted to make a wrist camera.
Is that what he originally was?
The original thing was he was a surfer, and there was no good way to get great surfing pictures. Check these videos out. You can watch the 60-minute episodes on the website. I have the link there, the embed and everything. So there was no way to get really good surfing photos unless you knew a friend who was a photographer who had all the gear and who was good. So he's like, I'm going to attach a camera to my wrist. And it started off as a still camera, 35 millimeter, doing just film. And then he was taking, I guess, I don't know what he was. Maybe he had some money. Actually, he borrowed a lot of money from his family. But where the major idea for getting it off the wrist came from was when he was taking driving lessons, like Grand Prix style. Mm-hmm. They offered to charge him $100 to attach a camera to the car that he would be driving or racing. And he's like, well, I have a wrist camera right here. And then he attached it to the bar.
I realized you can
and then
use
he
it
drove
for more than surfing.
And then and then everybody was coming around the car going, where can I get one of those? And he's like, I make them. And he's like, right there, we knew we were no longer a wrist camera business.
That's crazy.
And that was insane. It's just so good. The guy's so happy. He's done a great job. He hasn't lost who he is. And it's a $1 billion company. He's a billionaire.
He looks young,
he's
too.
He's in his 30s.
He looks younger than that.
Yeah. He built a tremendous business.
Didn't it say something like he lost $4 million to begin with, starting it off?
No, he didn't lose. He had a different company. It was a video game company,
and
I
that
believe.
Didn't pick up,
that
right?
They got $4 million in investment.
Gotcha.
And then they lost it all within a year or two. So that was gone. And then this was the idea. All right. So then the second part of this was the thing about Henry Grossman, who's a famous photographer who was, he took this amazing John F. Kennedy portrait when he was in college. Not John F. Kennedy, but Grossman was in college when Kennedy came there. This was before Kennedy said he was running for president. He got this beautiful portrait, beautiful lighting. And then when Kennedy decided that he would enter the race,
he took him on?
No, Grossman asked.
That's awesome.
He asked if he could go, tag along, do something. Well, he ended up on the road with him, just there. So one thing, he started where I believe it was Life magazine. I don't believe it was Time. I hope I don't have that wrong. It was one or the other. He ended up shooting. He was in New York. He went to Ed Sullivan Theater the night the Beatles played on the Ed Sullivan show.
Yeah.
He has amazing photos of that, of all the people going nuts. He ended up on the road and working with the Beatles directly. He ended up being their alarm clock. He said he would be the one who would wake them up and sing, "It's a beautiful day" or whatever. Beautiful day, wonderful day to be me. And it was just fascinating. And the thing, it's just solid image after solid image after solid image. They're going through his archives and they're holding up slides. And what I love about this, and this goes back to last week with the 99-year-old photographer and everything like that, is that these are memories. Photos are these memories that fire the synapses in your brain to get back to that time, to remember everything that was going on. It's like smell, right?
We talked about that last week, yeah.
But when you see these images pop up, or when he's looking at him, he's like, oh, this was what was going on in that scene. I noticed that in my images. When I see something, it takes me right back to being on the road, and it makes me feel like I know everything about it.
Yep.
So what I also found interesting is not once did they talk about gear. It wasn't about gear, because it was about the amazing images that he captured.
Yep.
The historic nature of those images. It doesn't matter what he shot it with.
It's just like talking about the snowflake sky.
You see these Nikon Fs and everything, but it doesn't matter. It's about the images and the history that he captured. Just fascinating stuff. And the last thing about that is I was just sitting there thinking how jazzed I was to see that stuff and be like, I'm inspired to go shoot. This makes me want to go set up my own projects and go do more. So what I ended up tweeting, or I said to somebody, I said, if you watch something like this and you still don't feel inspired to go shoot, it's time to throw your camera away. Because what he captured and the stories behind it, amazing. Amazing.
I got to check this out. I still haven't watched it yet.
It's 15-minute segments.
Yeah.
It's just so incredible to watch.
Yeah.
It's inspiring. People ask me all the time, what do you do when you lose your inspiration? I watch other people's work, the classics, the people that came before us. I look at what they did and I sit there and I go, look what they did then. Look at the history they captured.
I would kill to be a photographer back in the day like that time, because they were, one, much more respected, I feel like, and two, you are keeping history with your camera alone. Like, you know what I mean?
You don't know that. But you
just saying, and the opportunities I feel like were much stronger then than there is now. Everyone has a camera these days.
Yeah, I get that. But you don't know that you're making history at the time that history is happening.
That is true.
The Beatles are playing.
Embrace it and realize what's happening. But
this is the first time the Beatles have played in the United States. Nobody knew what was going to come after. Magical Mystery Tour, everything else. You didn't know that they weren't going to flop. It's like, name a band. Name a band that showed up and you never heard from them again.
That showed up and never heard of them again?
What, somebody that was supposed to be huge, or not even supposed to be huge. Just there's a million bands that come in and play at your station.
Well, we just talked about Foster the People earlier tonight. Like, they had pumped up kicks and kind of fell off the earth after that.
Yeah, they disappeared.
Yeah.
Right? So who knows? Nobody knows. Like, fun. We love fun.
We do.
We were there before fun was anything.
They're fun. Yeah, we shot them when they opened up for Weezer.
Well, did they open for Weezer that day?
Yeah, birthday show.
That was but they played during the day.
They did.
Do you know,
nobody knew who they were.
I sat there, and you know I'm not a big music fan. Like, I don't really. The music is. I like music. I like pop. I like stuff. I saw Nate up on stage. He had his big glasses on.
He looked like a hipster and a half.
He was smiling. He was having fun on stage.
Yeah.
And I sat there
intended.
and I said this, and this is from Ignition and Ignite.
Yeah.
Which
their debut album.
That's their first album. Fuck that shit. They sit there and say, like, they say that this new album is their first album, the fun album. It's not. It's just Ignition and Ignite.
Aim and Ignite, I think.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
I actually went home and bought that album.
Did you?
Seriously. I went home and downloaded it on iTunes. I paid for it because they made such an impression on me that I was like, they had fun up there, and it's great pop music, and I loved it.
Yeah.
How's the clock?
Good. We got about 5 minutes or so.
Okay.
We have 7 minutes, but we should restart it in 5 minutes.
All right. Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good.
What were we talking about?
We were talking about how I would love to be a photographer back in the day.
Oh, right. And you don't know when history's going to happen type of stuff.
Exactly.
Because you don't know that's
And that's
history.
why, like, when I'm doing these studio sessions and stuff with bands at the radio station, I feel like I try to respect every band as if they're the biggest thing ever, because you never know when it's going to be. You don't know what's really happening in front of you. I try and just take a breath. Yeah, exactly. I try and just take a breath and be like, hey, you know, I'm getting this opportunity to do this. Like, I got to really embrace it.
But they'd be more historic shots if you got to spend the day and got to the
I agree.
van
More
and
personal
all that
behind-the-scenes stuff would be a great thing.
That is the stuff.
That is the stuff. That's where you get all the access.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you had another news story?
We had one more, yeah, and it just kind of tags on to the GoPro story. So speaking of GoPro, you probably saw this, but I'm going to bring it up anyway. A crazy point of view video of 2 planes crashing in midair was captured by skydivers on board that had mounted GoPros on their helmets.
All of them.
Which I thought they were actually DSLRs, because when I went skydiving, they had DSLRs, and they triggered them with a straw-like thing in their mouth.
It wasn't sure. It's just a...
It's
just
a
bite
on it. Yeah, pressure thing.
That's what happened when I jumped out of an airplane.
But these guys had GoPros. Anyway, they caught the whole thing, literally 2 planes crashing. They all jumped out of the plane with their GoPros on. 9 skydivers jumped out of the planes. They all lived, thank God. It could have been a tragedy. And the pilots as well, they had emergency parachutes, and they also jumped out, saving themselves. And yeah, just another miracle caught on camera. It's crazy.
Yeah, the GoPro, man.
Yeah.
That stuff is insane.
Yeah, I mean, they weren't surfing, so.
So the one thing I did take a note here, speaking of your beer...
Oh,
you have I guess, is it a beer blog? You've been doing beer reviews?
Kind of, yeah. It's a thing for the radio station. It's called Craftology, and it's just all craft beers that I review. And it's once a week it's a 12-week campaign. We started, I think, back in September. We're almost done. Got about 4 more weeks left. And yeah, it's been going strong. I'm doing phone interviews or going out to breweries.
We like to
touring.
call them phoners.
Phoners. I was going to say that, but I don't know about the people out here that understand that that wording.
So guys, a phoner.
A phoner.
Bands give phoners.
AKA phone interview.
Yeah, phoner.
So phoners, in-studio interviews, brewery tours, whatever it may be. And I'm just writing a little recap of that.
So where can they find the information?
They can find it on radio1045.com. I think /promo/craftology.
Jesus, Steven. Can't they just go to Steven's page?
To make it easy, just go to radio1045.com. You'll see a link right on the front page. It says Craftology. It's like a green logo.
So if you're into beer.
Yeah. I mean, it's all craft beer too. So it's not your typical, Miller Lite or whatever crap beer there is. But
all right.
It's good stuff.
All right, Steven, why don't you reset the cameras?
Will do.
And I'm going to talk about the new Rode microphone that's out. I had to fight them for the information because we're recording this before they announced it. But anyway, what is out now? It's the Rode VideoMic Go. Rode just came out with a $99 microphone, much more affordable than some of the others that are over $200. That is, I'm thinking, going to be pretty darn good because everybody wants to know, how do we get good audio? Just make sure it's double blinking. It is. That was double blinking? Yes. They want it. People want good audio coming from their DSLRs. I know I want good things coming from my DSLR. What are you doing? Getting more beer? Yes. Really? Did you put more stickers on them? I'm going to. Oh, all right. Anyway, so here we go. I'll just read what Rode wrote me. Rode's new VideoMic Go, releasing Friday the 15th of November. Great video mic sound, but amazing price of $99. No battery required. I like the fact that no battery is required because then I don't have to worry about it. It is powered off of your camera, uses a power plug from the camera. Oh, here. Integrated Rycote Lyre suspension. I don't know what that is. Incredible isolation with no hands to break or sag. Sorry, no bands to break or sag because we all hate sagging. You hate sagging, Steven? I do. I prefer the push-up bra myself. Incredibly light, only 70 grams. For anybody that knows what a gram is, I don't. 2.5 ounces is what they're telling me. But anyway, I want to try this out. Everybody wants to know what is a good solution for getting quality audio at an affordable price because everybody wants everything for not too much money. $99 to get audio that's going to be a good microphone to capture whether you're shooting skateboarding or you're shooting a concert or you're shooting some interviews with people right in front of the camera in not too loud of an area. This VideoMic Go could be the solution for you. So here we go, Steven. There's one more thing I want to talk about here. The new YouTube comments. Yeah. Have you heard anything about it?
Well, I've heard you bitching about it at first, but...
Well, I bitched it first.
I haven't really checked them out too much. I'm not much of a commenter, so I don't really know how to use them that much. But yeah, I got to check...
I'll tell you what happened.
What's different about them?
What is different is that YouTube is owned by Google.
Gotcha.
Google is they still have a hard-on for Google+. They're still trying to make it happen.
Still terrible.
It's still, they keep saying that their numbers are great. Like, anytime somebody tells me they have 1.2 million, 1.5 million Google Plus circles, I sit there and I go, yeah, that just sounds inflated. I know it tells you that it's 1.5. If you have 1.5 million on, here it is. You have 1.5 million on Google Plus, and then you have like 10,000 on Facebook. It just doesn't compute.
It doesn't make sense.
Like, the stuff doesn't. So basically, the way, and this is, I guess, a Google Plus rant while we're at it, they're adding people to the circles. So if somebody adds you to their circle, or you add them, and then they add them, and then somebody, it's counting up all of these circles that you're whatever. So YouTube decided to redo their entire commenting system. So I've started to discover why this is good. But at first, there were glitches. Like, I can't comment on some of my old videos.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
I can't comment. How are people? They ask me questions all day long, and now I can't comment on them? That's not good. So I actually was on the phone with a YouTube partner support person, which was great, by the way.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
To actually get on the phone with somebody, and they listened and took these ideas back. But yeah, he said there's some glitches. I'm like, yeah, why the hell would you roll something out before that's fixed? Because that, of course, people are going to bitch.
On one of the biggest platforms ever.
Right. The point here is that they want you to have a Google. Now you need to have a Google Plus account in order to make a comment.
And I thought it automatically basically creates a Google account for you.
It gives you the option.
Okay.
But I guess soon enough, it's all going to be integrated.
Gotcha.
Which is fine. Like, it's great for me. Like, if I post a video and well, what sucks is I have 3 or 4 different Google Pluses because I have 3 or 4 different Google addresses.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the one that has 25,000 people in the circle is not the one that's tied in with my YouTube account. So there's like 4,300. But anyway, when I post a video now or post a comment, it shows up on my YouTube Sorry, it shows up on my Google Plus, which is good for SEO because Google runs search engine. They run the search engine.
It's obviously going to be coming up first, yeah.
So that helps. It really helps that. But where it's good is that when you sign up for a Google Plus, it's under your name.
Yep.
Just like Facebook comments. People are much nicer in Facebook comments because it's tied to their
name is there.
So now your Google Plus, your YouTube comments, which are some of the most hate-filled comments in the history of commenting
that is true.
on the internet, is YouTube. Now you're going to start to see people's names, which should hopefully translate to better comments. One other thing that was stupid of them was to allow for linking in the comments. Because now all the spammers are out going, I want to get rich. Do you want to get rich? I just made $300. My girlfriend just made $400 today. Well, she's a cam girl. Of course she's going to make $400. But that's beside the point. So I think it's all right. It's starting to come around to, because I don't care. Just interaction. I don't care. If I can make comments and the comments are going to be better, then I'm all for it.
And I think the linking thing is good, but not for everybody. Maybe for the person who uploaded the video or something like that. The other thing is, does YouTube like freaking ask you to like what name you want to use every time you sign on to it? Because for me, it does. It's like, do you want to use Steven Eckert or do you want to use like your YouTube
That means
name?
you haven't selected one yet.
I've selected it every single time.
You
I don't know
haven't.
if there's a glitch.
No, you failed.
I click it every time.
You failed.
I sign on and I click it, and every time it pops up. It's really annoying. There's sirens. Someone just got shot. It's really loud.
What, me?
Yeah.
I'm good at that. That's why I got away from the microphone, because of my levels. All right, Steven. So that ends the YouTube comment discussion.
Okay.
We hit that. We hit up your Steven's beer blog.
We did.
And I want to talk about the holiday sale now. The holiday sale's here. But it's not just the sale. It's the holiday contest. There are 44 prizes this year. Last year, there were 40 prizes. There are 24 golden Fro picks that are going to go out with orders that start now and go until the end of the holidays. So those are randomly selected by Heidi, not by me, to go into orders. And the golden Fro picks will get you to win some amazing prizes. But I want you to remember, there's 24 golden Fro picks. I said 44 total prizes. There are 20 prizes that there is no purchase necessary for. If you go to FroKnowsPhoto.com/contest, all of the rules are there. I am giving away 10 FroKnowsPhoto beginner guides, digital downloads, and 10 FroKnowsPhoto beginner flash guides,
even better,
digital downloads. So those are going to be no purchase necessary. You don't have to buy anything, so don't yell at me saying that you have to buy something, because there's 20 of them. But I want to talk about the holiday prizes. Rode is giving us 3 VideoMic Go's, the new ones. That's $99 a piece. They're giving those away, so 3 people are going to get that. Think Tank Photo is giving 5 bags, a Retro 30, a Retro 20, an Urban Disguise 35, a mirrorless 20, and some backpack, which is worth like $300.
I was going to say, they're not cheap. That's awesome.
They gave a ton of stuff. Black Rapid's doing 8 straps.
Do you know what straps?
Yeah, they're doing 2 Yetis.
Nice.
And 6 of the RS Sport, which
nice.
is similar to the FroKnowsPhoto Edition one. Squarespace is giving 3 business-level accounts for a year. They're $288 a piece.
Oh, wow.
So that's a great prize to get.
It seems like everything is a pretty solid value no matter what you get.
That's because I called companies and said, you're going to do this.
You need a match.
No, I just said, you're going to give me something good this year.
Yeah, you did pretty good on that.
Oh, and Adorama picks. $500 in credit.
Oh, wow.
They're giving $100 to 5 different people.
Okay, I thought you meant $500 each time.
No, I thought that... I thought $100 was reasonable.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
$100, and maybe I could always bump it up, but that's 5 people are going to get $100 in credit. So go to store.froknowsphoto.com. Any order is eligible for this that you buy from a physical product. Don't forget that this is a new shirt. This is the heather gray with black. We have the new purple with the lime green, and the FroKnowsPhoto I Shoot Raw straps are in stock, but I can tell you there's only there's a limited amount still left at Black Rapid in the country. We just placed an order for them to go back and have more made. They have to dye the fabric.
Yeah.
So we're told that stuff won't be back till after the holidays. So whatever we have in stock now is what we have. If you want it, jump on it. Jump on it.
Waiting for that.
Jump on it. Jump on it. Jump on it.
Yeah,
get dizzy.
I'm gonna make sure not to cut to the GoPro angle on that.
You better cut to the. You didn't do it last time when I screamed.
That's because you did flying solo, and I don't
forgot.
normally watch.
You weren't
that
paying
part.
attention.
No.
Anyway, so there's those are the new shirts. There's the new heather gray hat, winter
I don't
hat.
get this heather gray. What's
everybody
heather
loves
about
heather gray, man.
Oh, why is it just called gray or
it
light
should have been
gray?
just Grey's Anatomy. I don't know. But so anyway, not to there's some great prizes.
There is great prizes.
That's running. It's like $6,000 in
have to
prizes.
buy something myself.
44 people have a chance to win something. 24 golden Fro picks are going out into the world, around the world. It's open to anybody. So don't yell at me again because it's open to the world. And that's it, Steven. That is the holiday sale and holiday contest.
Yeah, solid. You do that every year?
I've done it for the last 3 now.
Like even with those kind of prizes?
Last year there was a Drobo. There were a bunch of Vanguard. I had great prizes last year too, but I think they're better this year.
No, that's good because it's usually like, you know, a lot of companies will do like, oh, you get the grand prize, and then like the second prize is like the worst thing ever. Yours are all like equivalent.
I'd rather have all good
solid
prizes
than
$1 grand, and then the rest
prize.
is like crap.
Yeah, that's awesome.
People are going to win some cool stuff.
Yeah, no matter what you get.
And I'll let you in on a little secret, people. If you've purchased a FroKnowsPhoto Beginner Flash Guide, I am going to run a contest similar to what I did last year, where I gave away a 6D. Or a D600, there's going to be a chance to win a flash setup. It's either, well, if you have a Nikon, it's going to be an SB910. If you have a Canon, it's going to be, what's their highest end one?
I think now it's a 600.
Okay, they're 600, which are both about $500 a piece. So each one of these prizes is going to be worth $1,000. So pretty much I'm putting together a package of $2,000. 2 people are going to end up winning this, and it's going to be a strobe. It's going to be the umbrella, the stand, the triggers, probably some Pocket Wizard X's. I'll buy 2 of those. Flash, triggers, umbrella, boom.
I feel like that'll be more than $1,000 worth of stuff because those flashes alone are like 500, 600
$500. They're $500.
Are you sure?
I've already done my research.
Okay.
I think it's going to come out to about $1,000.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough on that. Time to fly solo. You're going to sit here, right?
I am.
You're watching the clock.
I am.
All right. Are we ready, Steven?
I'm ready to
Holiday
do nothing.
sale, store.froknowsphoto.com. No, I'm going to throw it to you. There's questions. People ask questions to you.
I'll be sure to pay attention then.
Joseph Hasbrook. When shooting concert photos, what's the best way to compensate for the harsh red lights? I know I've answered this a bunch of time, but yeah, Steven, really? Seriously? I'm gonna kick you out. You are gonna go back to your You're gonna go back to your seat over there if you interrupt me.
My bad. I didn't mean to.
Drink your I shoot raw beer.
I'm not gonna talk until you say I can talk.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw it to you. But yeah, Steven's right. Red. I mean black and white. If you see red harsh lights, the best thing to do is go black and white. I'm not even gonna throw it to you. Don't even talk. It's enough, Steven. You've been silenced. Will Vrisinga. What are your thoughts on having a degree versus being self-taught? When publications of websites are looking to hire for staff, does that sort of thing really matter, or do they think that your work should speak for itself? I wouldn't mind some elaboration on this as well. Thanks. So we have talked about this before, but I know people are always interested in this. The simple fact of the matter is I don't give a shit what piece of paper you have hanging on the wall or that you throw on the desk. If your photos look like crap, I am not going to hire you. And that is what people should be. If somebody hires you because you have a degree in photography, you could go get the New York Institute of Photography degree and call yourself a photographer. But if you can't shoot your way out of a paper bag, or you don't have work that elicits something from somebody, they don't like it, then they're not going to hire you, or they shouldn't hire you. So that is what I'm saying. I'm not saying that a degree is worthless. I'm just saying that it should not be put on a table. Nobody has, to this day, asked me for my Antonelli Institute of Photography in Applied Technology degree. Ever. Steven?
Can I talk now?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think when it comes to art, a piece of paper doesn't justify what you can put out in the world. I think it comes down to your creative eye, or just what you can do with your stuff. What are you doing? You just flashed me, dude.
Was it good?
Not really.
Did I just show you my whispering eye?
Your whispering eye?
Yes.
What is that?
It's a movie reference.
To what? That I probably don't know.
It's that movie with McLovin.
Oh, Superbad?
No, the other movie with McLovin.
Kick-Ass?
Not Kick-Ass. The other movie with McLovin. And Stifler.
And Stifler?
Yeah.
Oh, Grown Ups? No, that was.
It's not called Grown Ups.
Oh, the one where he's the
Minotaur.
Yeah, he's doing the fighting.
Minotaur.
The cosplay stuff.
Yeah, cosplay stuff.
His name was like, isn't that? Or no? Yeah, Grown Ups.
It's not called Grown Ups.
No, it's not Grown Ups. That's Adam Sandler.
Yeah, come on, look it up on your phone while I keep talking.
I can't. It's an airplane.
Oh, you can't. Oh, all right. Well, with airplane mode, you can technically still leave it on Wi-Fi. But anyway, I forget what it's called. But that movie is so funny. Minotaur.
Yeah, that is
It turns his piss to green. He's like, hey, how was your weekend? Anyway, back to, I got so many questions here.
Yeah, we got to keep this rolling.
Isaiah Clark, how do you guys feel about the recent New York-based paparazzi, quote-unquote, photographer securing a deal with Lori on Shark Tank last week? Would you guys even entertain outside financing for your photography business? So Steven did not get to see this episode. Steven actually, for the first time, watched one of these before we went out for we went to a party, a Halloween party, and I was watching Shark Tank. I'm like, we can't leave till I see what happens.
I know.
Shark Tank is one of my favorite shows on TV. I love Mark Cuban. If anybody has a connection with Mark Cuban, please hook it up. I mean, I know I'll try to tweet him and all this stuff, but I love Mark Cuban. It's a great show to watch for business. You learn something, you see what you're doing right, and it's just amazing. I love it. So basically, this guy comes on, and his business is called Paparazzi Proposals in New York City. So he's like, I became a photographer, a paparazzi 6 years ago. First off, I'm never calling myself a paparazzi. I know, but I'm never calling myself one of those. I would not define myself as that. That'd be like, what's his name? Edgar?
Edgar?
Edgar is a paparazzi.
Who the hell's Edgar?
Edgar.
Edgar?
Edgar, the guy in the pit with the 600 F4, the bazooka.
His name's not Edgar.
What is it?
I'm not going to say it on here.
It's not Edgar?
No.
All right, Edgar in the pit. You know who I'm talking about.
I do know who you're talking about.
It's not Edgar?
He's a paparazzi.
He's a paparazzi.
Yeah.
And he's a pain in the ass because of that.
He gets in my way.
And he's probably listening right now.
Multiple times. That's why we're not going to say his name.
Edgar.
Yeah. Edgar. Maybe his name is it. No, it's not Edgar. It's definitely not Edgar.
I thought it was Edgar. It's not Edgar?
It could be. I don't know.
I don't remember his name.
If it is Edgar, then we're going to pretend we're talking about somebody else.
But anyway, so I would not call myself a paparazzi. Basically, Shark Tank, for anybody that doesn't know what it is, they have 5 people up on a panel. You've got Damon John, you've got Mark Cuban, you got this Lori Grenier girl who's from QVC, you've got this Barbara lady, and you have Mr. Wonderful, who's on. He's the bald guy who made a lot of money, Kevin. And then you've got the guy all the way on the end. I forget his name. And then you have a couple of other people that fill in. Basically, people come in and pitch their idea. And they go, hi, I'm here to raise $200,000 in exchange for 20% equity stake in my business. And then they pitch them, and then the sharks fight it out to see if they want to invest in a company. It's a fascinating show because it's so much better than reality TV, because it is, I mean, it's real. It's mostly real. And I know that most of the I've read up on some of it, that most of the deals that are made, some of them actually don't go through after the fact. Did you reset the cameras?
I didn't yet.
Oh.
We still got some time.
No, let me check.
We're good.
Can you do it?
All right, I will.
I looked because it was only like 7 minutes.
It's Role Models.
Role Models is so good. But anyway, so that's how the show works. So how much time's left?
3 minutes.
All right, good. That's when I like to do it. So this guy walks into the Shark Tank, and as soon as I heard photographer, I sat there and I went, pfft. I like poo-pooed it. Because all right, I won't say this yet, but so he comes in and he goes, hi, my name is so-and-so with Paparazzi Proposals. And we're the only company in the New York doing this, where we just feel that people need to get the moment captured. You know, I know that Adam has gone in New York and captured some proposals of people getting engaged. They're not the only people in the world to do this, right? But it's a good name, Paparazzi Proposals. Yes, it makes sense. So he's saying that he made like $200,000 in the last 2 years or something. First, what? Go ahead.
I think I missed that part, but why is it called Paparazzi Proposal?
Because that's the name of the business.
That's just, it doesn't have anything to do with...
No, the business. Well, it's sort of. It's the guy
like hiding.
The guy talked about how his skill set as a paparazzi has allowed him to capture images where he's hidden and not really recognized and known, so that it translates well to the paparazzi proposals. His goal was to get money to then spread this to other cities and to get in deals with other people and work out deals with the jewelry companies. And Mark Cuban sat there and said, "That's stupid." He did. And Mark says it like it is. He's like, why would you do that? He's like, you'll be too big. You cannot cover that many proposals if it actually works. But the thing was, as a photographer, I'm not going to seek outside investment in my work like that.
Yep.
It's one thing if you're creating a restaurant. It's one thing if you're creating something different. But photography is so subjective. It's an art form. What if something happens to this guy? It's not like picture people. You can't hire photographers to get great pictures to be you.
Yeah.
So it's really not an investable thing. It really isn't. But for some reason, Lori saw something about it and decided to invest in it.
Really?
So my answer is absolutely, hell freaking no. I would never go on and go for something like that. That's a business thing. If it was, hey, we want to, like if I went to Damon John and said, I have a brand, I shoot RAW, and we've done X, Y, and Z in business, and I think that it's a great idea. I think a lot of people will latch on to the I shoot RAW. You've built FUBU. I'd love to... I'd love to work with you.
Yeah.
Right. That is something that is investable because it can grow. You can't invest in whatever. I'm sure they can. I wouldn't do it, and I don't think that's a good thing.
No, I agree.
I'm going to keep moving because I love that show, though.
I think we're about 50 minutes in.
All right, good. Okay. Lath Shenshal. Being a D4 sensor, would you carry the Nikon DF as a backup camera for a shoot?
That's a good question. I'm not going to talk anymore.
Go ahead, Steven. Go. I'm drinking.
This would be more for you. This is about D4. I'm not going to answer it.
It's a very, very functional backup camera for stills. Well, what if you need video?
Yeah, I don't know if I would bring a DF with me.
It's $2,749.
I think I'd rather bring a D800.
I'd rather bring a D600.
Or D600, yeah.
I would take the D600 possibly over a D800, and I know people are going to yell at me again. Why do you want to take the D600 over the D800?
All over it.
Oh, sorry, I meant D610.
You know what I mean.
No, well, I meant the D610.
Same difference.
I wrote it up. But no, the D610, I would go for that. I can't go for that. Whoa. You know who that is?
No.
Hall & Oates, bro.
Oh, I couldn't tell in your excellent singing voice.
I can't go for that. Oh, oh, I am everything
Private
that
Eyes.
you want me to. No, Private Eyes. How does that go? Your private eyes are watching me. Oh.
I should just use that clap to sync up everything.
Eyes are watching me. Well, speaking of, Juan Patino, like episode number 7, he was a background singer for them.
Really?
Yeah, and he's a photographer. And I met him in the pit a long time ago.
We should tell him to bring Hall & Oates in.
Oh, I did. I love. He could bring John
Philly.
Oates in.
Aren't they from Philly?
Yeah, they went to Temple.
Nice.
They were roommates. I think this was the story.
Mr. Hall, Mr. Oates.
No,
you're
I
late
think
to
what
class
happened.
again?
No, I think what happened is there was like a fire drill, or a fire, or something, and they ended up running into each other outside
while singing Fire.
No, I don't know. A fire!
There's a fire in the house. We gotta run out.
You know what one of my favorite songs? The Roof. The Roof the roof is on.
Wait, which
fire.
version?
Bloodhound Gang.
Okay, yeah.
We don't need no water. Let that
burn.
Burn, mother. Burn. I love that one. I would go with the 610. I mean, the DF would work for stills.
Yeah, it definitely would work.
But I love the D610. I love that little camera. There's just something about it that I love.
And I think I'd be more comfortable shooting a camera that I'm used to versus a DF with the manual dials and all that.
Which you don't need to use, but still, we're not
exactly.
going to. Okay. Hans Haberkorn. In an older RAWtalk, you said it's important to have a photo project besides the work as a photographer. So my question is, do you have a photo project at this time, and what is it? I have ideas for photo projects that I have yet to get off the ground. I need to start doing them. This is something that I need to kick myself in the ass and do. Personal photo projects. My issues, and you hear me all the time talk about it, that I get stuck here doing business stuff, making sure everything is running, making sure that the world of FroKnowsPhoto is turning online as the world turns,
commenting, replying
to as many people as possible.
I still don't know how you do it.
I don't know, but I need to focus on myself and my personal shooting. The problem that occurs is when I go out and shoot, I sit there and go, well, I should film this. I should do this. Did you forget to set the camera?
No.
The clock?
For once, I actually set my clock to my phone to automatically lock.
Yeah.
Because you know how often I had my phone to set to not automatically lock, and now the one time I need it not to lock, it's locking, all because of you. It's all your fault. Good job. Good job.
All because of you.
All because of you.
Is there a song?
There is a song, but I can't think of it.
Speaking of, while this is going on, if you're in New Orleans or near that area, there is a boot camp coming up on December 14th. That's a Saturday. There are still some spots available. Go to FroKnowsPhoto.com/bootcamps, pick up one of the last ones, and hopefully we'll see you there. What were we talking about?
My phone.
All right. Jacob Modem. I would like to start a channel on YouTube and post photography-related videos. However, there are thousands of people out there doing that. Have you got any tips for me to stand out from the crowd or be different to get myself above the rest? Thanks, Fro. Look at me. Look at me. I said the same thing, right? When I started on YouTube, there's many reasons why. I saw a video that Don Bauer did, and I thought that I could do a better job. So I didn't sit there in the comment section and say, hey, you suck. I said, hey, I could do that. I think I can do a better job. That is what the mentality you need to have. Okay? But I also sat there and said, but there's so many other people doing this. There's all of these other websites. But I said, screw this. I'm going to do it my way. And through it all... that was my mom's song. She said, play that song at my funeral.
Oh.
She did.
I didn't know that.
No, she always said that. Well, that's all right. She said that because yesterday was the 5-year anniversary of her dying. It was 5 years, like 10 o'clock at night, we got the phone call. And there's November 13th. So, yeah, that was 5 years. But no, that was her song, My Way.
Yeah.
Because that was what she felt she did it her way, which was, I kind of live by that as well. Dance to the beat of my own drum. But that song is awesome. But I wanted to sing it. Oh, yes, here we go. And now the time is clear. Oh, the time is here. And so I face the final curtain. Regrets, I've had a few. But then again, too few to mention.
What song is this?
This is My Way.
But who sings it?
Frank Sinatra.
Oh.
You couldn't tell from my singing that was Frank Sinatra?
You were almost
and
just
this,
as good.
Oh shit, I lost it.
I'm sorry
now
to ruin the train of thought.
The time is clear. Here, I messed it up twice. And so I face the final curtain. I regret and I did it my way. All right, I screwed it up.
You know what I should do?
Lyrics?
I should put reverb and stuff on your voice when you sing every time.
You should do it. I don't mind that. And that's not because I'm drinking, by the way. I just don't know the words.
Auto-tune one and like switch it up.
Well, somebody out there, I know that we got Alec. His last name's Alec. That's what he got. Mojo Alec or whatever. He did one of the dance songs.
He did the auto-tune version?
He did the dance song. I would love to hear some auto-tuned RAWtalk stuff. Somebody take all the RAWs, because you can download the MP3s, chop it up, and make a song out of it. That we will play that and give you credit and send you out into the world.
Yeah, what are the guys that do that? The channel, the YouTube channel.
I don't remember, but that was some funny stuff. I know, we need to keep moving on. But that My Way, great song. I wish I knew the lyrics. Damn it.
You knew a lot of them.
I know, but I didn't get to the main stuff. But anyway, this kid's asking me, Jacob's asking what to do. There's 1,000 people doing this. My answer to anything is so what? Everything's been done.
That's true.
Just about everything has been done in this world except walked on Mars.
Just got to do it better.
And that's not even in this world, because that's a different world. But nobody has walked on Mars, okay? But there's opportunity. There is a fan base out there waiting for anybody. People either love me or hate me. There's kind of not an in-between, right? It's the Howard Stern thing. You love them or you hate them.
That's true.
Right?
But they hate you, so yet they still continue to watch. They see what you
want. The first, actually,
what you're going to do next.
I don't see that hate comment stuff coming because of the new YouTube. Where's all the hate? I want more. No, I don't want more. But the thing is, the tips, do it. Here's the secret to being successful on YouTube.
You tell 'em.
Quality content. It looks good. In my opinion, it's fun and it's informative, and you don't make one video a week. If you make one video a week, you will fail.
Yep.
You will not grow. You will not get a foothold on the industry. I have 1,402 videos
unless you're Jenna
right
Marbles.
now. Unless you're Jenna Marbles and can put out one video a week
and get millions
of views a week, because she's a hot girl who's dirty.
Sex sells.
Very well.
Yes.
Speaking of sex, no. I'm not going to go there, Steven. Well, selling your sex is more like prostitution.
It is prostitution.
It is, but it's legal some places. What was I saying? Oh, those are the things to do. You need to, the quality content, put yourself out there, and just one a week is not going to make you happen. Because if people are waiting a week, they're not going to wait. They're going to forget about you, and then, oh, there's another video. I put up 2 videos a day to start for like the first month and a half or 2 months. Excuse me, how are we doing on time?
Doing good.
And
about
then,
9 minutes.
You know, it still averages out to 1 video a day for 3 years.
It's exactly referring back to the band thing we were saying. Like, you don't want to fly off the face of the earth after that first year where you get, you know, you go crazy and you're #1 and all that. If you stop putting out content, you're done. You got to stay relevant. And
that we had this discussion in the car after having pizza at Pizza Brain tonight, the world's only pizza museum.
Really?
Yes.
That was delicious.
I don't know. That's what the hipsters call it.
But
that's what they say. No, the pizza's very good. But we were talking about Steven loves albums because he's a music guy.
Yep.
But people don't... Generalization here, a lot of people don't give a crap. They want that hit. The way I look at it is if you want to do music, do what I've done with videos. It's a constant interaction. You're putting out 8 videos a week. You know, you're putting out a couple videos a week. Anybody at home can't see what I just did. I am grasping at the air because this reminds me of why one of the reasons I started doing what I was doing. And let me explain to people who don't know this. I don't know that many people do know this story. Is when I started out in this thing called You Guys Media with Ari, we were setting out in the world to be the marketing or media company, social media gurus for bands, to tell them what to do and help them do it online. This is before Facebook. This is MySpace time. This was when they had their own websites.
Like online management.
Online stuff, yes. And what ended up happening is the bands that you can work with can't afford you, and the bands that can afford you don't need you because they already had everything. But the thing that we came up with a script for these bands to follow. If there's 5 members in the band and each of them make 1 video a week about something, there's your 5 pieces of content, right? And then you just add a couple more in there doing it. And it doesn't have to be about music. One guy loves movies. So you sit in your chair with a jacket on and a pipe, and you talk about one movie for 3 minutes each week. Another guy was into photography. You talk about photography. The other guy's into cooking. You talk about cooking. It doesn't matter. You just want to stay relevant. You want to stay involved in the conversation. Why are you looking at me like that?
I'm just deep in thought.
It's good information here, though. This is so what happened is the bands would not follow what we suggested to a T. And then it came to the point where it's like, you know what? I'm going to go do this for myself. And I followed all of the rules and the theories that we thought would be successful, and I made it successful. I started doing it, and it worked.
Proved the model worked.
Yes, and once you prove that it works, you've gained all the credibility in the world.
Yep.
The band's languishing, you know, and you just do your own thing. You can do it. You can do it the best yourself.
Yep, and it's really not hard as long as you keep up with it, and it's quality content. That's what it comes down to.
Quality
over
times
quantity,
7 times 10 with honors.
Times
Andrew
30.
Fisher, Jared, Steven, Steven. Talk a little bit about primes versus. You know what? All right, I'll read it. Zooms. Do either of you use primes on a regular basis? If so, what primes? What about other photographers that you know? Do many shoot primes compared to pro? Okay, so this is my theory on that. I kind of don't use a lot of primes anymore. We use a prime right here on Steven's angle. It's a 51.4 to shoot him. We've got the 24 to 70 on me right now. We used the Rokinon lenses back in the day because they worked well. I don't shoot with primes when I'm shooting concerts because there's a lot of movement going on, and I feel that I'm not able to capture what I need to capture because I'm missing the shots that I want.
You really can't. It's almost impossible.
Do you use primes at all?
I use primes only when it's a controlled shoot. If I'm doing a photo shoot or a headshot or something like that, you're good. I will use a prime because personally I think the quality is a little better, and I like the depth of field depending on what it is, like an 85 or a 50. And I use my 100 too. My 100-2.8 is freaking incredible.
That's a beautiful lens.
Oh, the bokeh it produces is great. But yeah, normally it's just the variable zoom lenses that I use.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or they're just called zoom lenses.
Or zoom lenses.
Chris Muck, you doing the cameras?
Yep.
When using a monopod, is it better to attach the telephoto lens to the monopod or attach it to a head on the monopod? Well, For the life of me, when I used a monopod, I never had a head on there because I became the head for it. I would lean forward, I would lean back, I'd go to the right, I'd go to the left, and the camera would rotate and everything would work out. So no, I never used a head for it, but I now shoot video on them. How's it look, Steven? All right, I now use video with monopods, so those are meant to have video heads on top, and those work out tremendously well. But I really don't see a need to have a head on top of a big lens. You know, really, I don't see a need for it.
Wait, on the monopod or the lens?
Well, the monopod has a head on it,
yeah,
and it connects to the lens, and it allows you to tilt just like we do on a tripod. I don't find that's necessary because by the time you're done fidgeting with it, you've missed the shot.
Yeah, I don't do that
So you
either.
lean forward or you lean back. That's really all you need. Lean back. Lean back. Fat Joe. All right, next question. Jesus. I'm not doing well here with paper, Steven.
What are we up to? How many
I have no idea.
pages we got left?
Steven, I'm going to go through it quicker. Steven Santamore. Do you think the Tamron 150 to 600
Crazy.
f5 to f6.3 is going to be worth the money? Rumored to be $1,500. I know you don't do nature shots, but you have a high track of being accurate with your predictions. This is a 150 to 600 mega freaking zoom, f5 to 6.3. So 600 at 6.3, it's not that bad, but it's not good. This is a mega zoom. It's not going to be amazing. It's not going to be amazing. I am not a crook. Who's that?
I don't know.
It's Nixon.
I can't.
Nixon. I am not a crook. I am not a crook.
From what Watergate?
Yes, I'm not a crook.
I wasn't around at that time.
Neither was I. Who was Nixon? This is trivia for anybody out there. Who was Nixon's vice president?
The one who took over, right?
No, Johnson took over, right?
I thought it was Carter that took over.
No, it wasn't Carter. It was Johnson. No,
Okay.
Johnson took over for JFK.
I don't remember.
No, it was Spiro Agnew.
I've never heard of that name ever in my life.
I could be. My history could be. I need to call my dad. He was there.
I don't know.
All right.
He was there.
Anyway, no, I don't think this is a worthwhile lens to spend $1,500 on a 150 to 600.
I actually don't think that price is that bad.
It's not bad, but you could get a 70 to 200, man.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
You could get a Canon 70
quality.
to 200 version 1 IS, and then you could.
That's what I have.
Yes. So no.
And I use it about 95% of the time.
Austin Wheeler, what are your thoughts on WordPress for a photography website? Well, I wouldn't use WordPress for a photography website unless you really know coding. People will tell you that, well, WordPress is free. Yes, the basic form of WordPress is free for the basic template. If you want to have a good template that's a photography template, you're going to spend $35, $40, $50, $60 to get a proper template. As I've said before for numerous weeks, as I've switched to Squarespace, I use Squarespace to do my photo portfolio. They have a lot of different things geared towards photographers that make it easy and affordable. I should write down their pitch. They've got a whole bunch of crap. But anyway, go to squarespace.com/fro, use code FRO11, and you'll get 10% off your first order. That's going to be 10% off if you buy 1 month or 10% off if you buy up for a year. But beside that crap, I use it because I like it, and I think it's easy to use, it's affordable, and I just like using it. And it looks good. So, no, I'm not a big fan of the WordPress unless you know what you're doing. Yeah. Unless you're a coder and you could do the HTML and you can put in a good template, that would be the only way I would suggest doing that. Jeff Wortley. Hello, RAWtalk. How often should you replace your compact flash cards or SD cards? It's a good question.
That is a good question.
Have you ever replaced any?
I've only replaced a couple because, one, I've washed them, or two, I had a couple corrupt images on one of them, so I just ended up tossing it.
That's because they were Lexar.
No, that was actually SanDisk.
No way.
That was
That's
SanDisk.
because it was in your Canon camera.
Okay. This is also a couple years ago when like 1 gig was like the biggest card you can get at the time. So
here's how I do it. I actually get the cards and I draw on them in Sharpie. On the back, I put the date that I bought it, just so I know which cards are older. And so I had the 1 gig cards, my first cards. I never had 512s. I bought the 1 gigs for $279 back in the day.
$279,
yeah,
wow.
$279 for the Lexar cards at the time. Then when I got 4 gig cards, I moved in my Pixel Pocket Rocket from Think Tank. I moved the old cards down
still
and
have
leave
them
the
there.
new cards at the top. And then I have now the 4 gigs are the ones that we'll never touch, but they're there just in case.
Backup cards,
right?
yeah.
Never. And then the 8 gigs have been pushed down because now there's 2 32s. There's a bunch of 16s. And so if you ever have an issue with a card, I think that's time to never use it again.
Exactly.
Because it. And I heard who talked about this? He does a lot of Nikon stuff. He's a Corey Rich. Corey Rich talked about this in one of his videos. I guess he's sponsored by SanDisk, but he made a great point. And this isn't really towards the question, but it was you spend all this money on gear. Don't cheap out on buying crappy cards.
Yep.
It's like the card is the one thing that you can't have fail. If a camera fails, whatever. Right? You already have cards in there. You already have pictures, hopefully. But if a card fails, you lose everything.
Everything you've worked toward,
You can't skimp out on cards. And that's why I say if your camera allows you to have 2 card slots operating at all times, then run 2 cards that are saving raw files to both.
Except
for you.
For me. Because if you have an SD card, it slows down to that speed.
In what camera? Tell me.
In the 5D Mark III, it doesn't support UHS-1, which is very fast when it comes to SD cards. It only supports the 10 speed or whatever, so it's not nearly as fast as any compact flash card you can get. So every time I had for the longest time both cards in, and my
whoa for the longest time, whoa for the longest. Hence I've been spending you tonight. Woo! I will still be music left to right. Woo! I took my chances, and so much of our romances. I haven't loved you for the long. Did he not love her for the longest time? I don't know. Billy Joel, everybody, on the piano.
Give it up, Billy Joel.
A bottle of red, a bottle of white, perhaps a bottle of rosé instead. I left a table by the street. In our old familiar place, you and I face to face. A bottle of red, a bottle of white. But that depends upon your appetite.
You done?
Brenda and Eddie were the popular steady and the kings of the queen of the prom. Riding around in the car top down and the radio on. Couldn't have been any minder. They were more of a hit at the Parkway Diner, but whoever knew they could get more than that out of life. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, Brenda and Eddie. Oh, shit, I already had that line. Damn it. I forget that. Sorry, people. I know you wanted me to stop, some of you, but
it was a really long
I
time.
love Billy Joel. I hope that doesn't kick off the the third-party match software. Oh, man. But I love that song.
Yeah.
That's like Italian restaurant is so good. Where were we, Steven?
Well, before you cut me off, I was talking about the 2 memory cards, and basically for the longest time, don't go into it again. Stop. I gotta watch what I say.
I just wish we had a Huey Lewis track come up next. Oh, is that the power of love, Steven?
I'm not even gonna say anything about that.
Is it hip to be square? Is it the heart of rock and roll?
We were rocking out to him the other day.
I love sports.
Yes.
Sports! That's the name of the album.
All right, let me just finish this comment. So I had the 2 cards in right when I got the actual camera, and for like 6 months I was wondering why it was so slow. I'm like, I have the fastest 1,000 times card for Lexar, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? Took out my SD card, realized it was slowing it down to the slowest speed, which was a speed 10, still fast, and it's UHS-1 class 10, but because it doesn't support UHS-1, it was really not worth it at all. It was just slowing down to that.
All right,
so
but when you have
any in
but
there.
If you have, say, a D7000 or a D7100,
I think.
you have 2 slots in there. As soon as when I got the D3 and it had 2 slots in there, I'm like, oh my god!
But that was 2 CF cards, right?
2 CF cards. If I can, if one card ever goes bad, even if you bought crappy secondary cards just to put in the secondary slot, just in case, you're protecting yourself for if something happens, when it happens. It's going to happen to all of us. Cards are going to fail you, but buy the best cards, and just, if you can do redundancy, do redundancy.
Yeah, set it to write to both cards, and you'll be good to go.
Being that we have a Stephen Miller question next. Hey, Jared and Steven. Stevens unite, by the way.
Hell yeah, brother.
Some call me the space cowboy. Some call me the gangster of love. Some call me Maurice. Woo, woo.
How did you get that out of what you just said?
His name is Stephen Miller.
Oh.
The Stephen Miller Band.
I know. I wasn't thinking of that.
They have also the song Spinning Away, which was covered by Sugar Ray for the movie for The Beach.
What's The Beach?
It's a Leonardo DiCaprio movie that is fantastic. He got paid like $25 million and it flopped.
Oh, wow.
But it's an awesome movie.
Yeah,
awesome movie. Watch it, people. All right. I just sounded like Peter Hurley right there. So he's got a long question because he asked one before. I recently had asked a question about my first boudoir shoot, and your answers was were very helpful. Now I am in a dilemma again with the same lady. Oh, this was the lady who thought she looked fat.
Oh, yeah.
You're blocking your face with the beer.
What?
Oh, but yeah.
Is this good?
Well, no, it's just looking at the lighting. With the same lady. She loves my pictures now and went off and bought her own DSLR, which she had no idea what she was doing until I advised her. Now she wants me to teach her how to... Teach me how to Dougie. Teach me how to Dougie.
God.
I don't even know that song. How to shoot. I am not sure how I feel about this. I don't have a problem teaching her and getting laid for it, but I'm I'm stuck in the rut of that, and I could be training competition. There are a ton of photographers around here who get so much business off a $40 shoot and turn out horribly shitty pictures. His words, not mine, and it's destroying the market for quality photographers. Should I take the opportunity to make the money and teach, or do I say there are sources online, go learn yourself? Thanks again. You are both awesome and I appreciate your time. P.S. When are you coming to AZ for a workshop? Is that New Zealand?
Arizona?
I don't think he means Arizona, does he?
AZ? I don't know.
Maybe he means Arizona. But anyway, I want to go back here to something that he said up here. I'm not sure how I feel about this. I don't have a problem teaching her but getting paid, but I am stuck in the rut that I could be training the competition.
That's
Am
true.
I training the competition?
Yeah, I guess.
Technically.
You could be.
But I see that there's a lot more to gain in the world by me helping people, and certain people aren't going to do what I do, and I'm not going to do what they do. I take the money and run. Go ahead, take the money and run. Is that another Steve Miller Band song?
I don't know.
Oh my God, look it up. I think it's a Steve Miller Band. Take the money and run.
My mind is blown.
Don't look at, I mean, Role Models was good, but I think that's a Steve, I didn't even.
Should I look it up?
Yeah, I didn't take the money and run. Steve Miller Band. Oh my God, that was amazing. You're so Amazing Grace right now. Amazing Grace. All right, I'll stop.
This is a pretty intense singing episode.
I know, this is a major singing, and it's not the vodka and apple juice, which was, by the way, very good.
It was really
it's not as
Is that what you're trying to say?
It's not as acidic as
pee?
wine. It's not as acidic as lemonade. So while you're doing that, I would train.
What was it again?
Take the money and run?
Take the money and run.
I would take the trainer. Why not? Take the money, get paid somehow.
Steve Miller Band.
Oh my God, that was awesome. That was like the coolest thing ever. Adam Peel, is there one show or even... Is there one show... I'm not even going to... Sorry, Adam, we're not going to have time to answer that question.
Oh.
I'm sorry. I just... okay. Is there a show or event that you wish you could reshoot and why?
Oh.
I don't know right now. That's the thing. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I'm sure there's some shows that I would love to reshoot.
Yeah,
but
that's kind of a really broad question.
I don't second guess things that I've done. I really try not to do that. I try to do the best job that I can when I'm there. Sure, you wish that you could have done this again, or you could have gotten closer, or you would have had a different lens on it at this time, but I don't think there's anything I would go back to do.
Yeah, I don't know.
Neil Trafankowski. Trafankowski. I got it right. How long have you been growing the fro, and at what point will it be too long? It's been 6.5 years.
You get it trimmed, though.
I have not had it trimmed.
Really?
It's still not been trimmed.
Holy crap.
It needs to be, because everybody's like, you have split ends. And I'm like, I don't know what a split end is. And girls are like, when are you going to flat iron your hair? I'm like, when are you going to do it for me? Yeah, it's been 6.5 years.
I thought you've been getting it trimmed.
And at what point will it be too long? I don't think it's going to be too... I'm fine with it. It doesn't bother me at all. I'm fine with it. Okay. Matthew Pyle. How can I place an order for the I Shoot Raw bib and onesies for this kid? He put a picture of his kid in there.
Aww.
What I can do for you, Matthew, Steven, remind me to do this, to remind Heidi.
I'll probably forget.
Okay. I have to, Matthew, I'm going to send you one. So I'm going to send you a message. I need to get your address. We are out of onesies. The reason we're out of onesies is I only ordered 2 of each size. I sent one to Pascal for his kid who's going to be born in Canada. And I just sent one to London, Australia, to Simon Pollock. He just had a baby. The problem with the onesie is next time we're going to have it screen printed instead of embroidered, because embroidery, it has the patch on the underside, which could give some bad stuff to babies, like rashes. You don't want rashes. So yeah, I'll send you one. I've got a couple of bibs left. They're blue, and I'll get your information and send you one for free. Dallas Quack. Where do you personally draw the line between free and paid work? What is your criteria that you follow to determine the decision? One of the things that I ask, one of the things that I use to determine whether or not I do free work is if I want to do the shoot. Is it something that interests me? Is it something that makes me want to go and shoot? What are you doing? Why didn't you reset it when you were there the first time?
I want to check your levels.
Oh, how is it?
Good.
How much time is it?
What?
Anyway.
Oh, hour 20.
Oh, all right, we're good. Shit. Steven. How many more pages are there?
Oh, does this blink when we peek?
No.
Hello? No?
Is it not plugged in all the way?
I'm gonna peek this real quick. You! Huh.
Can you check your plug?
Yeah, no, it's plugged in, but I swear I just saw it blink. That's kind of weird. Anyway, for you guys that are listening to the podcast, I'm talking about the
indicator light.
The indicator light on the microphone.
So you don't forget to fix yourself.
Fix myself?
Check yourself.
Check myself before I wreck myself?
Yeah, before you wreck yourself. So where do I personally draw the line is if it's something that, if it's not going to take away from another job, if it's something that I'm interested in shooting, and if it's something that there is a future for me there. It could lead to something else. If it's just a gig where they're going to pay you like $50 to go shoot somewhere that takes 4 hours of your time up, it may not be worth it. But if it's something where, say, like restaurants, I know a lot of... Adam shoots some restaurants, and sometimes there's gigs where they may only pay you $50 to $100 to go do it.
But the next gig,
you could end up getting a great meal. You're working with the owners of the restaurant. They see what you do, and they're like, "Hey, come back to eat tomorrow. Well, I'll take care of it."
Yep.
They know other people. That's the stuff that you may want to do if you have the time and ability to do it.
That's true.
Sten Nyson. Hi, Jared. I'm just a hobby photographer. 3 months ago, my first son was born. Did you have a second son? I don't know. My first son was born, and I've been putting photos online for people to see him grow. Quite some people ask if I am doing this as a profession because they like my photos. I personally think I still have a lot to learn, which we all do. I added we all do. How seriously should you take the opinion of others who see my photos, not being photographers, and probably all taking photos with smartphones as... Did I just draw on the table?
I don't think so. I can't see it if you did.
I did. Shoot.
Who cares?
I cares. As an indicator, you might be able to start doing this more professionally and try building a business, ? I'm guessing it might be wise to post a set for a rapid fire critique. Well, first off, if people are commenting that they like your work and they want you to hire you to do your work, then it doesn't matter if they're professionals or not professionals, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You know, just take the money and run. Woo, woo, woo. Just do the job. If somebody wants, and it doesn't matter if you're a beginner, if they like the work that you're creating. It's like saying you don't have a degree, going back to the early question.
Yep.
You don't have a degree. Does that mean you can't go get a job? No. No.
If they like it, if they like the product, that's what your job is to do. Make them happy. Make them satisfied.
Hunter Evan White. How do you balance dealing personal funds and business funds when dealing with your own photography company as well as buying new equipment, especially when first starting out on a tight budget? Well, if you're first starting out on a tight budget, it's probably all personal funds.
Did you say tight butt?
No, I said budget.
I swear you just said tight budget.
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
You checked the tape.
I think you did.
I don't think I did.
Oh, maybe you didn't. It was funny if you did.
If you're working on a tight budget, Steven.
Oh, it just sounded like it.
Jesus. What are you drinking?
I'm drinking an I Shoot Raw beverage.
Another I Shoot Raw
It's a root
beverage.
beer.
Another root beer.
Another root beer.
First off, if you're just starting out, it's all personal money. But it's a business expense. So make sure at the end of the year when you're doing your taxes that any gear or anything that you spent that involves your business gets taken out and deducted later. That's what you have to do. How do I separate it? Most things are business expenses. We go to dinner. You and I go to dinner and have a meeting. That's a business expense. right? Except for at Pizza Brain because I had to use cash because they don't take charge.
Yeah, which is ridiculous. But
it is ridiculous. I hope you guys are listening over there at Pizza Brain. But travel, if I'm driving to a place and I write down my mileage from here to there, that is a travel expense for business. So that's how I separate it. If it's personal expense, then it's obviously personal, and I don't write it. I don't take taxes out for it.
Yeah,
because that would be illegal. James Banks, I need a standard zoom for my crop sensor Canon. The Canon EF 17 to 55 2.8 is overpriced. Should I go to the Sigma 17 to 50 2.8? I say first off, it's not overpriced. That lens
how much is it?
It's expensive.
It's
probably like $1,100.
That's pretty expensive.
Yeah, that's expensive, but it's a quality piece of glass.
Yeah, it's not L glass, is it?
I think they consider it L glass.
Okay.
No, maybe I don't know if an EF can be an L glass.
EF is, yeah.
I meant an EFS.
EFS, yeah.
I don't know if there's any L. I don't know. It's a fantastic lens. I don't remember seeing it with a red.
Yeah, it's only the red is that have L glass.
But nonetheless, the 17 to 50 2.8 Sigma is a perfect choice to go with on a crop sensor camera. Nikon, Canon, or whoever. Bannister Todd. I guess your name's Todd Bannister. I like not cropping or sorry, maybe your name is Bannister Todd. Whatever. I like not cropping and try to get it right straight out of the camera. I took some photos of a boy by a fire truck and his mom wanted an 8x10. In order to make it work, I had to cut off the ends of the truck. That's 1 inch from here and 1 inch from there, usually, or 2 inches from either side, because when they print it out, they print out as 8x12s, which is full frame, unless you turn the lab to print 8x10, correct? It will do that and then print it with 8x10.
Wait, what?
In a lab, when you're printing.
Yeah.
In your Noritsu. You can tell it to print 8x10, right?
Yeah, you can.
Or does it all print 8x12 and then you cut it later?
No, it's 8x10. You can do whatever. You can tell it to be 8x10,
any
8x12.
Length?
Yeah, it's any length. It just can't be. It has to be obviously 8 inches wide. So.
Okay. All right. So while I had to cut off the ends of the truck. When I'm shooting, how can I predict which photos I can offer at different sizes without screwing up my composition? I offered to print a different size for her, but she didn't want a non-standard size for easy framing. That's something that happens. So there's a bunch of different options. Today, you can shoot in 4:5 mode, which is an 8x10. I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
You can also turn on the grid display in the camera, which will show you where your crop marks are going to be for 8x10. I'm just conscious of it. I know where the frame ends. If it's going to be an 8x10, I know to maybe leave a little bit of room.
Yeah.
Because I know somebody may want an 8x10. Or the other option is you print full frame on an 8x10 print.
Yeah.
Which means you're going to have white borders.
Have white borders,
and you just explain that to the people and go, this is full frame. And if they don't want it, you print them an 8x10 and you cut 2 inches off of it and you give it to them and they don't give a shit.
Yep. And I actually had that same problem that I ran into when I did my newborn shoot. The lady was like, I'm trying to print all these pictures at 8x10 standard print, but they're all getting cut off. And I'm like, that's because that's not really the standard. It is kind of a standard print, but 8x12 is the true standard size of that. And she's like, well, I don't want to do 8x12. I can't find a frame. Anyway.
I'm only going to do 4 more, Steven.
Yeah.
Because I have 3 pages left.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We're already like an hour and a half in.
That's why I'm not going to go further. I'll save them for the next flying solo. Because there were so many of them, that's why.
And you sang a lot.
And I sang a lot. I can't, whatever. Jackie Burhans, MWAC. All capital MWAC. I hate that and other terms that denigrate photographers who aren't as cool as the person saying it. Discuss.
What are they talking about?
Well, I didn't want to look it up because I wanted to come here and ask you if you knew what MWAC was.
I don't. Did you before you looked it up?
No. Can you look it up? MWAC space photographer term?
MWAC. I've never heard of that.
So let me think. What could this possibly be? MWAC.
MWAC.
My Chemical Romance?
Oh, I got it.
You got it?
I got it.
Should I keep guessing?
Yeah.
Give me some tips. Let's play the $25,000 pyramid.
Okay. Well, can I say one of them?
No. You have to act it out or something.
Like trades or something?
Well, it's $25,000 pyramid. You have to use other words to try to get me to, or phrases to get me to get it right.
This is going to be a tough one. Well, one of them, can I point to stuff?
Sure, I guess.
Okay, one of them is something like this.
A lens?
No.
A shutter button? A camera?
Yeah.
Yay!
We got that one.
Camera. That's the C.
That's the C. And then there's a noun as the first word.
I don't know what noun is.
Well, it's
a describing word, right?
No, that's an adjective.
Shit. I failed English. I didn't fail English.
It has to do with family. Has to do with family.
Mother with a camera.
Yep.
Holy Jesus.
Well, mom with a camera.
Is that like MILF?
I guess.
I hate that in other
totally
terms that denigrate photographers who aren't as cool as. I've never heard of a MWAC.
I've never ever heard of that.
I've heard of a FOP, fucking old person, which is most drivers in Florida. No offense.
Which is most old drivers in general. No offense.
I've heard of MILF. I don't even know what a BAMF is.
Badass mother effer.
Oh, that's what a BAMF is?
Yep.
What I drew on myself. That's what happened.
There's a million different acronyms.
All right, but there's another acronym I was thinking of.
But that I've personally never heard.
I've never heard of a MWAC.
I've heard mom with a camera, like fully, but I've never heard MWAC.
You're just a MWAC.
Yeah, how do you even say that?
You're just a MWAC. Hi.
I mean, maybe online, that's the way to say it. Like,
I guess. But yeah, I've never heard of this. I would tell the people to go screw themselves.
So what is she asking?
It says, I hate that and any other terms that denigrate photographers who aren't as cool as the person saying it. Disgust. Like, I don't like photog. I don't like photogs.
I don't mind
I don't
photog.
like togs.
I don't. Well, togs I've never heard
tog.
someone say.
It's like pogs.
Tog.
But anyway, I didn't know what an MWAC was, and I thought it would be fun to figure it out.
Yeah, you figured it out.
Derek Glittner. Jared, when are you going to put a flat iron on the fro? I don't know. When some girl decides to do it.
Did we already answer that one?
Yeah. Ben Reichlet. Would you ever consider cutting your fro? It seems impossible as it's such a huge part of your brand. I know that Nikon guy is now that Canon guy. Well, he's not really that. I don't even know.
No, he's just his name now.
It's just Matt Granger. How hard is it to start over? It's never hard to start over. I mean,
it's rebranding.
It's rebranding like new Pepsi. I mean, new Coke, which failed. I don't know. I don't have any plans right now to cut my hair. It's been 6 years.
I don't think you will if it's been 6 years already.
It's been 6. I don't mind it. I love the way it looks when it's down. It's curly. It's beautiful. I've got gorgeous locks.
Flowy.
It's flowing. Okay, so those questions were that. Michael J.
Fox?
Fundo. It's overwhelming. I want a new drug. The one won't make me sick. Well, I should have sang the other one.
Huey Davis.
Huey Davis.
Huey
Yes.
Davis.
Huey Davis in the news. It's overwhelming the amount of actions and presets that are used on Photoshop and Lightroom. Do you have any that you suggest or use yourself? Some of the sets I'm getting have so many that they all start to look about the same. This is the thing with sets, presets and actions.
Filters and all that.
And filters. They're so generic. They do something, yes, but I think that if you create your own filter sets and your own go-to standards, that you're better off. Thinking that you can buy some filter set from SLR Lounge or whoever else is going to put this crap out, it's just so you have 7,000 actions. So what? It's like having 8 million fonts. Who cares? You have 8 million fonts, but you still use the same 4 every time.
Yep.
Times New Roman. You know, it's just like Helvetica. By the way, if you get to watch the Helvetica Arial Black. If you get to, speaking of Arial Pink, Arial Pink, like that band. But if you get to see, there's a documentary called Helvetica, all about how fonts are made.
Interesting.
It's fascinating, man. It's on Netflix.
It's mind blowing.
It is. It will blow your MWAC. What was this question? I forget. Oh, create your own presets. If you have your go-to things, use them. Don't think that if you buy a plugin, you're going to be like somebody else. Because not every photo changes the same. Did you see the pen just flip?
Exactly. Like,
that was amazing.
It's rare when I use a preset without tweaking it more myself after adding it to the photo. If I use a preset, I mean, usually if I use one, I'm tweaking it myself.
All right. Speaking of tweaking it yourself,
it's never that easy.
Alfred Acosta asks, have you ever felt the need to carry protection?
Like
when, if you are by yourself? Well, first, if you're by yourself, you probably don't need protection because you're not going to get anybody pregnant. So the answer is why yes. No. Do I ever feel the need to carry protection? If you're asking if I carry a gun, I've thought about it. I've thought about having a gun for the loft in case somebody gets into the building and the only thing that's stopping between me and them is a gun.
Yeah, my dad's got a gun.
Right. So
and my brother, but he's a cop.
Right. And I don't know. I don't know. The protection that I've carried around when being a photographer, either big people who are bigger than me who can protect me, or I have a knife, which is just a Swiss Army knife that Greg gave me a long time ago that I could use for, I guess, protection.
Like a little 3-inch.
No, it's a 4. It's legit. It's a legit.
That's cool. My roommate has this giant like machete in his room.
And then the other thing is the monopod. If you have a monopod, you have a weapon.
It's like a bat.
And mine, the one that I used to use before I switched to the Vanguard, is an all-steel monopod.
Oh, that's legit.
Last question here. I'm not going to answer it. I'll save this for next time. I will. Steven.
Yes, Jared.
How are we doing?
We're doing good. This is a long episode.
Well, that's it. I'm not going to ask any more questions. I'll save them for the next time. That's a lot of questions, people. Thank you very much for asking them. This is a good show. Long, lots of singing.
Well, we haven't done flying solo in a while, so we have a lot to catch up on.
And that's the thing. I don't want to do flying solo every week.
No, I think it's been very good. Like this month, we probably were so diverse in our videos that, or at least with RAWtalk, yeah.
It keeps it because look. You know I have ADD that's not diagnosed.
No way.
Never been diagnosed. You know that I think that I already want to change the setup that we have here.
Yep. Well, every time we reach the best possible setup, you want to change it more.
I'm like, isn't it getting boring? Isn't it getting old? Don't we need to add something? Don't we need to do this? This is how I am.
I just roll with the punches.
Well, it's because I'm always thinking that I need to do more, which is good and bad. But seriously, it's been good. Like I've enjoyed RAWtalks. Our RAWtalks have been really, really good since we sucked at the one that we sucked at.
Yeah.
The one that we both weren't prepared for.
Yeah.
There was a wake-up call. You guys, we told you that. There was one that we filmed and recorded that sucked.
Yeah, we did everything.
Horrible.
We did photo news.
We did it all.
We did it all.
We did it all, and I got to the end of it, and I was like, we're not using it.
We came back the next day and did it again.
Thank goodness it was on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
I think we went back to a Thursday and we were more prepared. I was not prepared. I didn't do it right. And now you can see the preparation that goes into it to make sure. And we did the preparation before. It just was that preparation wasn't good.
Yeah.
It was terrible. What should I talk about? I will talk about the holiday special. 44 prizes. What?
No, you're good.
Time good?
Yep.
44 prizes going out. There are 24 Fro picks. Again, you don't have to make a purchase in order to win something because there are 20 prizes available for people who do not purchase. Go to FroKnowsPhoto.com/contest. But if you would like the opportunity to get a golden Fro pick in your package, pick up anything at store.FroKnowsPhoto.com and you have the chance to be randomly selected by Heidi to have a golden Fro pick. And we know who's getting them. We keep all their information, so anybody out there who tries to cheat, we know that you didn't get one. You will get a golden Fro pick, and those prizes, those giveaways, the companies. Rode, thank you, Rode, for that. Think Tank, thank you guys for yours. Black Rapid, thank you. Squarespace, thank you very much. Adorama Picks, thank you. Basically, how this stuff comes about, they don't pay me to do that. They flat out don't pay. I called these companies that I work with already and say, we're doing a giveaway for the holidays. Do you want to be a part of it? So they give this is like $6,000 worth of stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot.
We're giving it away. I'm giving away 10. That's 670. That's 670 if you take the cost of what it would cost people. I'm giving away 20 flash guides.
Can I win one?
You have them. I gave you one.
I'm kidding.
You watched them.
I'm kidding.
So,
I mean the other prizes.
Anyway, there's new stuff in the store. There's 5 shirts. I didn't even talk about this earlier. There's a 5-shirt special for $49.99.
That's pretty good.
That's $10 a shirt, man. There's a 3-shirt special. Don't know the price. I forget the price. I don't remember what I made the price.
It's some
money. And then there's $12.99 for a 1-shirt random special. How's the time?
It's getting there.
Where are we at?
We're at 17:15. We got about 2 minutes.
All right. Well, I'm going to wrap it up. So that is that. I want to thank Steven for his news.
You're welcome.
Allen'sCamera.com. Check them out for all your Nikon goods. Don't forget about the new Rode VideoMic Go. Check it out yourself over on Rode's website or on ours. We'll post some pictures up about it. And Steven, that is it. That's RAWtalk episode number 61.
61.
A late night, and we have to go film photo news.
Nah, I can't wait.
There you have it. Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com. See ya.